Hello and welcome back to another episode of Inspector Lander. Today we're looking at a sales page for a free plus shipping offer from Dean Holland. The product is called the Iceberg Effect. You can see the lander is icebergeffect.com/go. So let's dive into it. Starting with the pre-header here, we've got Forward by Russell Brunson, co-founder of ClickFunnels. So that gives this offer a lot of credibility, kind of right off the bat. And then there's sort of a more traditional pre-header below. A must-read for anyone involved in affiliate marketing. The headline is, get your copy of the Iceberg Effect. Then we have no subtitle or subhead, but we have a testimonial this time from Russell Brunson. I recommend you read this book thoroughly right away, more than once even, Russell Brunson. And then we have a video, we have a picture of the book, and then we have the CTA here. So let's dig into just kind of what's in the header section here. So, is it unique? I think the title implies a bit of uniqueness in terms of the Iceberg Effect, right? You're like, well, what is that, right? But it's also sort of not really very specific. The heavy presence of Russell's feedback here, and I mean also the fact that he wrote the foreword, that also creates some uniqueness as well, because Russell Brunson is definitely a titan in direct response, but more specifically in affiliate marketing. So I think that carries a lot of weight. I'd say it scores pretty low on usefulness, this header section, because the headline is "Get your copy of the Iceberg Effect." So you don't really get a sense of what you're going to get out of this book, other than, hey, it's for affiliate marketers, and Russell Brunson says you should read it, right? But there's no promise, there's no like specific implication of the usefulness of the book. In terms of urgency, the only thing that triggers even just a little bit of urgency is this subhead from Russell, which says that I recommend you read this thoroughly right away, more than once even, so a little bit of urgency there. It is, I would say, ultra specific. It's very clear up front that it's, for anyone who's involved in affiliate marketing, so that's good. Again, no promise communicated, but I think that's intentional, because with offers like this, affiliate marketing offers, ad platforms tend to be pretty strict with what they allow, and you can have a lot of issues with compliance and getting ads approved and getting landers approved when you are promoting offers like that. So my suspicion, because I've been seeing this offer run for a long time, so I know it's doing well for a fact, but my suspicion is this was a deliberate strategy choice, right? To really water down the copy and really water down the promise, and not speak at all to income or sales or anything like that, because really, like, it's nowhere on the page. So again, typically you would sort of rate that lower or weaker, but I suspect that's a deliberate, strategic choice. Another knock I would give this header section is that it's very busy. Like, there's a lot going on here, and so it's a little bit confusing on desktop. Less so on mobile, obviously, because there's just kind of less to see. But when you're looking at this on desktop, it is definitely a little busy. Next, let's look at the page speed. So I ran it through, pinged them, and we can see it's at 1.77 seconds. So, again, this is a recurring theme with a lot of these pages that we have looked at in terms of offers that have been running for a long time. They're all under that benchmark of 2 seconds, right? Or most of them are. Certainly the ones that do really well, they're under 2 seconds, right? And this one definitely is, so that's great to see. We do have a video in the header section, and so just beat that here. The hook in the video is like, hey, my name's Dean Holland, and I just wrote a book. Like, that's essentially the first line, and there's no caption, so you won't be able to see it. But that's a super weak hook. But again, I think this ties in with the theme of this page, which is to not make any promises and not really say or do anything that is likely to trigger any compliance issues from Facebook or from Google, YouTube, wherever they're running traffic. There's no captions, which, again, they could have added, because, if the copy's watered down, that's fine. But, I still would have added captions to this, because it's, just essentially a talking head video. The content's, very broad, very vague. The one thing that is solid about this video is he does walk through the offer, right? And so the offer is free plus shipping, and we'll get into the specifics of it, but he stacked a lot of stuff on top of that to really make it, I think, pretty strong and pretty appealing. So that's I would say the one upside, the one strength of this video is that it kind of hits you with that offer right away, and positions it really well. So then we'll scroll down. We'll take a look at the mobile view here. More tools, developer tools. Okay, so so here we go. So this is how it looks on mobile. So yeah, we can see it looks a little better. It's it's a little bit less busy, right? Let me move my header over here. So yeah, we can see it's it looks pretty good on mobile. I think the text could have been bigger, frankly. This looks a little bit small, but there's no glaring issues, right? As you scroll down the page, the images render pretty well. So yeah, overall, I'd say it looks pretty good on mobile. All right, we'll close that up. And then we'll talk about the first CTA here. So this CTA used here is what's called a two-step. So instead of clicking on the button and then going straight to another page, this triggers a pop-up that forces you to put your email in before you can go to the cart page or the checkout page. And this is, again, a deliberate strategy to capture more emails because there will be people who drop off, right? People who abandon cart, so to speak. And this guarantees that every single person who hits the cart page has at least submitted their email. So, they are surely running an abandoned cart email sequence that really, hits people pretty hard if they put their email in, but they don't complete the purchase. So, and it's got the progress bar here as well, which is nice. And, step 1 implies, there's a step 2. The button says continue. It doesn't say add to cart or anything like that. So yeah, it's all trying to kind of minimize the commitment, right? And just make it seem very small and very kind of, gentle in terms of the steps that are required. In terms of the copy, it's pretty boilerplate. The other nice thing that I like here is that it says just $7.96 shipping and handling anywhere in the world. So that's, the anywhere in the world is an objection piece that, would surely come up. So that's sort of, there to overcome that, prevent that issue. And $7.96 is good because it's sort of like a bizarrely specific number, right? Usually, sometimes what you see with these free plus shipping offers is they'll actually try to make money on the shipping. Like the shipping will be like $15 or something. And it's like, okay, I know it's not going to cost you $15 to, mail me this tiny little book. So the $7.96 I think is good pricing. If we look below the fold here, starting with credibility, there's no typical kind of credibility badges or media features or certifications or anything really. The chief kind of credibility piece to this page is Russell's presence, right? So this is Russell Brunson. He's by the time we've gotten to this point, we know, okay, he wrote the foreword, he's given a text testimonial, and then now we've got a video testimonial. With him holding the book, right? So again, this, for people in the niche, for people in the affiliate marketing niche, this is just massive credibility. So I think it does kind of make up for the fact that there are no other traditional credibility pieces in here. Scrolling down, you can see it's a very long form, sales page. There's a lot of copy on it. And I'm not going to dig into sort of too much of this. There's a lot of like teasing, right? Like he says, so what is the iceberg effect? It's not this, it's not that, it's not that. That's a very typical curiosity play, right? That's kind of how to talk about something without revealing what it is, and that's really the fundamental approach this page takes. This subhead says, what is the iceberg effect? And at no point on the page do you discover what the iceberg effect is. You have to get the book to figure out what that is. But if we look down at the curiosity bullets, which are kind of the key piece for any information product, again, this is all like just very, very teasing. Lots of teasing, lots of curiosity. So we see there are a ton of bullets here, and I'd say they're pretty solid. I wouldn't give them 10 out of 10. I think they could be written better. But what we see here, which is great and which is highly effective, is like liberal use of page numbers, right? And I've talked about this before in previous episodes where if you're selling information and you're writing fascinations, curiosity bullets, where you're teasing specific reveals, what you want to do to really amp up the intrigue and really make it irresistible is tell them where to find the reveal, right? Because if you don't, then it can be kind of ambiguous, right? And maybe they go into the thing and there's one reveal that they're looking for and they don't know where to find it, or they get to the end and they feel like they didn't get it, right? You certainly don't want that. So the way to overcome that and just really dial up the curiosity is to include either page numbers, and I mean, you can get more specific, you can talk about line numbers or paragraph numbers, but page numbers or timestamps, right? Or modules, right? Where is the location that someone can go to get this payoff, right? And you can see here that, essentially every one of these bullets has a page number, right? So you know where to go, where you're going to get all of these payoffs. And so, top marks for that. Love to see that. Next we'll look at social proof, which is pretty light on this page. So, in addition to, so we have sort of the forward here, we have this, text testimonial from Russell, we have a video testimonial from Russell, but if we continue to scroll down, it's just like a lot of copy. We get the curiosity bullets. We don't get any more testimonials until we get down here, or social proof, I should say, because they're not testimonials. And really it's just pictures of people holding the book, and there's not even that many, right? There's 5. In addition to Russell. So I would say pretty weak on the social proof in the sense that, it would be great if we had text testimonials, or better yet, video testimonials to go along with all of these people taking these photos. And something else that's interesting too, right, is look at the avatar that's depicted in these photos, right? It definitely skews older, and so it's important to kind of take note of that when you're looking at a page like this. So obviously this is kind of like the ideal target for this offer, or the specific avatar that he's finding is converting best and responding the most to his ads, right? Are people sort of maybe 50 plus, maybe they're retired looking for a new income stream, or, they're kind of approaching retirement, but they feel like they can't retire and they'd love to, again, create kind of a second income stream. But again, it's definitely worth noting when you see, what kind of avatar or avatars are being depicted in the social proof. I think actually, yeah, and then at the bottom of the page there is one Facebook post, like a little screenshot here. So these are, like, this is a bit more believable, right? Because this looks like an actual Facebook post, and it's got the picture. We don't have a picture of the person, but at least it looks like a real thing. However, it doesn't say anything meaningful, right? It doesn't overcome any objections. It doesn't talk about any before or after stuff. Again, part of that may be intentional in the sense that he wouldn't want to use a testimonial that talks about income claims or talks about results. But I still think, he probably could have found something a little bit stronger than this, which is pretty soft. All the other CTAs down the fold are pretty good. This one has a bit of an animation if you kind of mouse over it here, and again, it's going to trigger the 2-step, so it's the same. Get the book and the bonuses, click here now. So pretty straightforward, pretty boilerplate. Not written in a typical, like, yes, send me the book, or yes, give me my free book, or something like that. That's probably how I'd write, something like this, but still I think this is good enough and it does work. I think the other nice thing is the color does contrast with the rest of the page, right? And that's, again, one thing that we've talked about in past episodes, where a common mistake that people make when choosing button color is to choose it in line with, like, brand color, right? And so that there's kind of this, like, thematic element, but what you want is the button color to pop and to stick out from everything else. And so in this case, this kind of, I don't know what to call this, like a mix between orange and yellow, sort of like tangerine. Yeah, I don't know what you would call that. But point being, you don't see it anywhere else on the page except for the buttons, right? So, like to see that. Frequently asked questions. There's no FAQ here, which I think, is a missed opportunity for sure. The defense there is that it is a long page and there's a lot of copy, and so I think it does, it does overcome some objections, and the bonuses have some good kind of copy to position them to overcome objections, but still I think some basic FAQs could have been good here, because with anything physical, anything getting shipped, people always have questions about where the shipping is and how much it costs and how long it's going to take, and blah blah blah. So again, I think that would have been good here. There's also a PS, as you can see, which is good to kind of summarize for people who skim the page. And that's, typically how people consume pages like this is, they hit the page and maybe they'll, like, look at the top here and maybe they'll click, maybe they won't, but chances are they'll skim, and they'll skim all the way to the bottom. And then that's where something like a PS here can catch a lot of people, where they're, like, down at the bottom, and it's like, if you're one of those people like me who hates reading, or whatever, here's the TLDR, and then you just kind of get the key points, right, which are really nice. Okay, and then so now lastly we'll look at the offer. So $7.96 shipping and handling gets you not only the physical copy of the book, which again is kind of cheaper than some of these other offers that you see sometimes with free plus shipping books, where it's $10, $15. I've seen even $20 for shipping on books, which is crazy. But the next step here is you are getting the audiobook, which is often an order bump, right? So that means it's an add-on to your order at checkout. So, like, you hit add to cart, and then it's like, hey, do you also want the audiobook? Upgrade for $8 or $10 or whatever. So here you're getting this for free, which is awesome. You're also getting a webinar, which again, it's like positioned as like the webinar version of the book, and of course, I'm sure in the webinar, the webinar ends by pitching, the course that's kind of on the back end of this, right? Because obviously if this guy's running traffic to a book that costs $7.96, that's not the only thing that's for sale in this funnel. I'm sure he has a course that he's selling on affiliate marketing on the back end of this. And so surely this webinar pitches that, right? But it's positioned as a bonus and as a value add. And then we get a couple of other bonus trainings. So we get this one, valued $49, the free money magnet method. We get how newbie affiliates compete and beat the big name gurus. We get, here we go, another testimonial from Russell, right? Ultimate funnel secrets, giving him some more credibility. Then we get another traffic training, right? So he's just really stacking a lot of bonuses on top here. And then this is a free group where he's granting you access. So anyway, all that really stacks up the value. And so, for $7.96, this feels like a good deal, right? This feels like you're getting a lot for that $7.96. And on top of that, he's positioned his guarantee as better than free. So, if you want to refund the cost of shipping after you get the book or before you get the book, he'll refund you the shipping and you don't even have to ship the book back, which I think is, pretty good. So overall, the offer is pretty strong. Let's see if there's anything that I missed here. Desired outcome, desired outcome, super soft. But again, I think that's a strategic choice with this page for compliance reasons, and I'm sure that's it's worked well because I've been seeing this offer for a long time, so I'm sure it's converting, and that also means that they've been able to get it running for a long time, right? They haven't had any issues with compliance, so that's a huge plus. The product name, again, I give it like a 5 out of 10. The Iceberg effect is to me pretty weak, but again, I think that's a reflection of the strategy as well. Bonuses are great. Guarantee super strong. No real urgency or scarcity. Like there's not even a countdown timer on this, which I think is probably for the best. Again, I mean, if he wants this to be an evergreen offer and just kind of run it for forever, for as long as possible, then that makes a lot of sense. So anyway, that wraps up this episode of Inspector Lander. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will catch you on the next one.